don't feel like you have to do it alone. I've had coaches, you've had coaches, and this isn't about hire Mike Claudio or Eric. It's about finding somebody who's been where you want to be and just shut up and listen.
Shut the fuck up and listen.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Oberembt, and you're listening to Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. We talk about real shit, what's on our minds, and don't give a fuck if it makes you feel a little uncomfortable. So sit back, strap in, and get ready for some real shit.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. I'm your host, Eric Oberembt. Special episode today. I just got done being interviewed on his show, and now he's here. I want to introduce my guest, Mike Claudio. Mike, thanks for being here, buddy.
What's up, man?
Dude, this is going to be fun.
I'm pumped.
We're going to dig
That
into
was a really great conversation this morning.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed it. I think that what we got into was I really enjoy having conversations with peers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like we were talking about, we spend so much time pouring into others. We don't get an opportunity to have like the real dialogue back and forth with an equal or somebody at a different level than us.
Yeah, it's like a business owner at like the neighborhood barbecue doesn't have someone to talk to.
Right.
Like people pour into entrepreneurs. It's hard to talk to the entrepreneur if you've never done that.
Yeah.
Right. So like when you've poured out to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a brotherhood of sorts.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Like you said, like I missed being.
I feel like we opened a conversation
we
of like
really
building
did.
something.
I knew that like whatever we did over there was going to bleed.
Yeah, it's a domino.
Yeah,
it's a domino.
Because it kind of has to, right? Yeah. But like, how do you figure that out? And we don't have to go down that
Big
rabbit
Stud
hole,
Podcast, check it out.
Yeah, Big Stud Podcast.
Big Stud Podcast. If you want to hear that episode,
we're
not going to redo the whole thing.
Yeah, we need to figure out when you're dropping yours, and then we'll just drop right behind it. So we'll move you to the front of the line.
Perfect.
Yeah. Actually, I do have a question about that because you drop so much content.
Yeah.
How far out do you get? Because we do it a little bit differently.
4 to 6 weeks is what I like to be.
Okay.
4 to 6 weeks allows my team to get behind it, and it's not too far out where we kind of like forget about it.
Yeah.
And so 4 to 6 weeks is our typical time.
So, and that's been our problem, is that I will film in bulk.
Right.
So that I can spend my time doing something else.
Yep.
And we might get enough content for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. Because you're 1 episode a week of the interviews?
1 episode a week.
Yeah, so 10 or 12 episodes is like a quarter.
Right.
So for me, it's different on different platforms and different distributions, right? So like Mike's Money Motivation, I'll sit down for an hour and do a whole month worth. Like,
oh, will you?
Yeah, so I'll just, like my Mike's Money Motivation, like I have an hour blocked once a month. I'll record 4 or 5 episodes in that hour because they're 5 to 10 minutes a piece.
Got it.
I got my topics ahead of time. I have notes prepared ahead of time. So like you trigger that creative, like why did I want to talk about that?
Right.
Here's the notes on why, like when I think about it, I type it in. When it's time to record.
Are you laying in bed? And
I'm anywhere. I'm driving down the road, taking a shit in the shower.
Yeah.
I'll get out of the shower, like my fingers are still wet.
Yes.
Like, I get this on paper, I'm gonna forget about it.
All the time. I lay in bed and I feel bad.
Well, like years of not doing it. Years of not doing it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that was such a good idea.
Right. And then I thought, I've learned to start, I'll lay there and be like, hey Siri, make a note, and fuck it. And my wife's like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's great. That's great.
Because if I don't, it's gone.
Yeah. Oh,
Is that like
and it's
like
gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the greatest idea ever, gone.
Because what Lexi will do is we'll be sitting in a room and we'll have a 30-minute conversation and she'll be like, dude, that was so good. You need to speak on that. Or like, you need to do a 30-minute deal on that. And I'm like, that's when I need to write it down because otherwise
you're like, what did I even say?
What did I even say? Is that not exactly what I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck I said.
No, I'll come off stage tomorrow and I won't be able to tell you what I said.
No. Isn't that crazy?
I like it best that way.
What are you talking about tomorrow?
So tomorrow's a lot about that personal approach to developing a vision for your life and what roles are most important to you. Because I think people choose to play too many roles in their life, and it allows them to.
That felt personal.
Well, I mean, like your husband, father, business owner, entrepreneur, philanthropist, podcast host, YouTube star, pet dad, right? Like friend, athlete, you want to work out, diet, right? Like nutritionist.
Right.
These are all roles that you try to play in a week or a day or an hour. And I think people, they're trying to be selfless, and they're trying to be for everybody.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's going to be about like, who do you want to be and what do you want to be known for in the roles that matter most to you.
It's a really good question. What do you want to be known for?
Yeah.
I literally was eating lunch just now. I ran over there to go grab a fucking chicken bowl. And I almost walked into, no joke, I almost walked into the breakout room just so I could be alone to eat.
No one would talk to you.
Fucking bother me. But so of course I sit at a table where a guy sits down that doesn't know who I am and goes, so what do you do?
Where would you like me to start?
And I literally just stop. I'm like, dude, I don't have time to tell you everything that I do.
I have a go-to in those scenarios.
Please.
All right, so for the nonprofit, we have to like buy shoes, like we talked about, right? So Champion Shoes, we buy shoes. So I like to tell people I'm a purchaser for a nonprofit.
Is that your stock answer now?
That's my stock answer now. If you say, what do you, and I'm not interested, I'm like, yeah, I'm in purchasing for a nonprofit.
That's great.
Like no one asks further, like, well, what do you, they're like, oh, that's cool.
Okay, yeah.
That's it, like it ends conversation
I gotta
immediately.
do that. But it goes back to your question of what do you want to be known for?
What do you want to be known
right?
for?
Because I get asked, like when I get introduced, you even asked when you introduced me on your show, like how do you want to be introduced? I'm like, fuck, I don't know. Right? Because I've got so many things that I do really care about, and I'm sure you've got so many things that you care about. That is a great question that people need to ask themselves.
But I don't look at it as in the exercise I'm going to walk through tomorrow. It's not a holistic. It's what do you want to be known for in the role specifically that matters to you. Because you can't, like, if you're like, okay, as a father, this is what I want to be known for. As a husband, this is what I want to be known for. As an entrepreneur, this is what I want to be known for. Well, at some point, you're like, well, I don't have time to be a friend right now and be all those things.
Right.
And then you are able to start like removing roles or minimizing roles that are no longer serving the bigger purpose for the roles that matter most. Because most of us, I think we talked about, or someone else talked about, was like, your family gets the fumes.
Family what?
Your family gets the fumes, like the crumbs, what's left, right?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't live like that. Is that more important than this?
No.
Then why is this getting all that and that's getting the leftovers?
Right.
Well, then you have to okay, I got to hire some people. I got to offload some shit. I can't be in sales and finance and production and operations and on job sites and wearing a tool belt and be a husband I want to be known for.
Right.
So which one's more important? So I'm going to do an elimination exercise tomorrow.
So is the goal to eliminate it to what level?
For something 0, right in that season.
Okay.
Like I'm not a volunteer at the church right now.
Okay.
I'm not an active son. Like I love you, parents.
Oh,
but
that's
like,
good.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I never really thought about that.
I will love you.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to see you every Sunday for dinner anymore.
That's
right.
interesting.
Friend.
Wow,
Friend. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
But when you know it, gives me chills. When you know it, you can communicate practically. Hey, it's not you. It's not you. This is just not serving the bigger mission that's more important to me right now.
I will get full of guilt for the second one of like, man, I have been a bad friend.
Yeah.
Right?
But a good friend would just be on. You're not a bad friend. You're a disengaged friend.
Right.
That's not the same thing.
No, but
a bad friend is the liar who keeps showing up and tolerating and eliciting the bullshit.
So
right? The bad friend is like, hey man, you want to go get a drink?
Right.
That's a bad friend. But to you, that's a good friend. I'm there.
Right.
You know, so it's like, how do you define it?
So to me, staying, like, let's just stay on that topic for a second, right? Because that does kind of bother me a little bit. Not bother me what you said, but like what I, is that I will try to then be intentional enough to like at least spend a couple of minutes every week making sure that I set aside time to at least like send out some text messages to stay connected.
So what I talk about is...
Do you believe in that?
100%.
Okay.
So what I talk about, and what I'm going to talk about tomorrow is everybody likes to chase the ceiling. Okay. What's possible in this role.
Yeah.
And when we do that, we say, okay, what would I look like as a husband, a father, a bit, whatever, if I had 100% of my effort in that bucket?
Right.
And then we compare ourselves to that ceiling.
Right.
When the reality is you don't have 100% in that bucket. And then so we feel like we're underserving people because, well, if I had more time, I'd be a better friend. So what I do is I protect the floor. What is the minimum I have to perform at in that role to say I'm doing enough?
Okay.
Right, so if for you is, hey, I'm going to have on my power list once a week, it's a touch base on somebody that means something to me.
Right.
And that's a 13-second activity, but that's your floor in the friend department.
Got it.
So you can look back at your performance and say, I did what I committed to, and I stayed at or above my minimum performance level in that role. Well, let's say you're a CEO, right? And one of your key leaders quit. We got to find that energy somewhere.
Right.
Right? Like you've been out of the business for a little while, your key leadership quits or gets fired, you got to step back in a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, you can't just fabricate time and energy. So you have to then change the expectation.
Sure.
So for a season you were a friend and a friend was this. Hey guys, this is what I've been. Because of this, this, and this, I gotta be here. This is what you can expect from me, and I guarantee I'll follow through on it. What you're doing as a friend right now is committing to more than you should, potentially,
yeah,
and or not minimizing the expectations they have of you. So, well, I'm letting them down. Why?
Right.
Well, just tell them what you can do, and then always follow through on that. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
Just do what you say you're going to do.
Do what you say you're going to do.
Well, but what happens is people don't say what they're actually capable of doing. They say what they wish they could do.
Yes.
And so you're constantly living in a state of underperformance because you have not adjusted the expectations and the roles that no longer serve the season. Right? I'll always be a son, but like my parents deal with scarcity. I can't be around that negativity. It negatively impacts me.
Right.
And I told my mom to her face, hey, your anxiety and your scarcity and your this, and this causes me to feel worse about myself. So I'm going to choose to separate for a little while. I love you and I'll still see you on this cadence, but you're not going to see me every week anymore.
How'd that go?
Tough. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But you know what? It worked.
Yeah.
Because now I could follow through exactly as opposed to feeling anxious about showing up.
Right.
Because my wife was like, you change when we go to your parents' house. I did.
Yeah.
Because I had to like get prepared for battle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I chose to not, I chose that anxiety is not serving my mission right now.
Because you thought you were supposed to do it.
Because I thought I was supposed to do it.
Right.
I thought it's what was needed of me to be a good son.
Right. Required.
No, to be a good son, I have to perform at a level above my parents.
Right.
Because my grandfather immigrated from Italy. So I'm a second generation American.
Oh, okay.
And so my grandfather's vision was, I want my...
Any mob ties that we can talk about?
Any what?
Any mob ties we can talk about?
We're not going there.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah, probably. He was a longshoreman in New York City, so very likely.
Do you know answers to these questions?
Not
yes.
Pause it.
The answer's yes.
Okay. So, but like his vision was, my son's going to stand on my shoulders, and his son's going to stand on his shoulders.
Okay.
So my job is to do better than my dad did.
Right.
But like parents struggle with that sometimes.
Right.
It's hard.
Oof.
And so like I had to separate from that. Yeah, it sucked.
That's deep.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I'm a happier person, which is what my parents want.
Right.
And if they took that personally, the unfortunate reality is that's their demons to deal with.
See, then I put myself in the shoes of the parent having a child and dreading the day dreading but being happy for them in the same moment.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean? Like, just because I'm a selfish prick and like I don't want my daughter to go anywhere, I want to lock her in a closet until I'm dead.
So, but what I would challenge you on, which what I'm working on right now, is I want to evolve into what my child needs in that season.
Okay.
Because what they need at 8 years old is going to be different than 18.
Right.
My parents didn't evolve.
Right.
My dad doesn't know how to be my friend. He doesn't know how to be a peer.
Gotcha.
He's always in dad mode.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't need a dad anymore.
Right.
I need a father.
Right.
I need a friend. And like, and we don't get along. We don't have a lot in common. And do
you think it's because of that, or you just genuinely don't have a lot in common?
So, I guess that's probably a longer answer.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say like, my dad is trying to play a role instead of just like support.
That doesn't work now.
It doesn't work now. Like,
gotcha.
And like, what he believes is capable or possible, like he doesn't understand. And so when I say things, his immediate response is to try to pick it apart.
Yeah.
Right? And so like, I don't want that.
Like he's your coach.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Right.
I'm sharing something with you. I don't need you to like make me have to explain myself on why I'm right. Can you not just trust that I'm making good decisions for myself? I'm a millionaire. Can we just have that conversation?
Right.
And just let me like be successful? Like
that's fair.
And so, but like, and maybe that's wrong. Maybe there's someone listening right now like, you're a piece of shit. Cool.
No, I don't think so.
Cool. You know what? It's my definition of success.
Right.
It's my definition of how I wake up in the morning. It's my definition of what I lay my head down with. How did I perform that day to the floors in my roles?
Right.
And going to my parents' house caused me to underperform in roles that were more important to me. I'm not a son anymore. I'm a father now.
Right.
I'm a leader now.
Right.
I'm a giver now. So like, yeah, son's low on the totem pole. It's not zero.
Right.
But I set proper. I was willing to have the hard conversation.
Yeah.
That's where people fail. Is they'll change what they think they can give, but never change the expectations and the other person's vision of them.
And no one wants to be uncomfortable.
No, but you know what? Now my mom gets it.
Yeah, does she?
And she evolved.
But your dad doesn't.
I'm not sure he even knows how. You know,
Really? Okay.
I think my dad's
fair.
a white collar salesman.
Okay.
He's 67 years old, still hustles.
Does he?
Yeah.
What's he sell?
Nuclear engineering.
How do you sell nuclear engineering?
Like he works with nuclear power plants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, you go door to door.
No, like, I mean, he's working on some really cool stuff, but like, he will always be a key person on a team.
Right.
So like, I love my dad. But like,
so where did you get all this from then?
I don't know.
Okay.
So I was the dude in Little League, like yelling at people for not trying hard enough.
Okay.
Like in middle school, I was tracking the middle school basketball statistics in a spreadsheet. I have been a leader.
And no one around you was doing that.
No one. I had no entrepreneurial influence in my life.
That's fucking wild, isn't it?
I don't know, man. From as long as I can remember, I have felt a calling to just be the leader. And I failed at it, right? When you're like 11 years old yelling at your friends for not trying hard enough.
Don't
like,
be a pussy.
Yeah, well, it's like, that doesn't really get you invited to birthday parties, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't. But like literally, I would take like the book home from the basketball game and track all the stats in a spreadsheet. I can tell you what people's like 3-point percentage was or free throw. I'm like, I was fucking in middle school.
Yeah.
Why was I even interested in that?
Right.
I've been using spreadsheets to analyze data for like literally 30 years.
Right. Nerd.
100%. And I'm like, why don't I have friends?
Right.
I'm a fucking weirdo.
Right. Were you an athlete though?
I was a 4-sport athlete.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you play?
Baseball, basketball, football, and track.
Which one do you think that you learned the most business and life lessons from?
Ooh, good question. Different lessons, but I would say the most impactful was probably track.
Really?
Yeah.
Not where I was going.
Yeah, I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
So the most anxiety I have ever felt is when you get into the blocks on a sprint. You know, when you put your feet in, it's called the blocks. When you get into that and you place your hands right behind the line and you get into position waiting for that gun to go off, is the greatest anxiety I've ever felt in my life. Like just the excited, anxious, the gun's about to go off. I was a sprinter, I did 100, 200, 400 meter sprints. But the minute the gun went off, I just performed.
Yeah.
And that taught me that the other side of the anxiety is where the performance happens. And there's so many times in business that anxious excitedness, that anxious fear, that what's gonna happen, like when I go on stage, the minute I get onto the stairs, I'm gonna feel it. I'm thinking about it right now. Like, I'm gonna feel it. The minute I walk on stage, I flow.
Yeah.
Just like I did when I sprinted in track.
So for me, it takes me the first minute.
You'll likely watch me try to catch my breath a little bit for the first couple minutes tomorrow.
The first minute, like Lexi will catch it too, and she'll like my speech pattern will be just a hair off in that first minute.
You'll see, it'll happen for me too.
And then it's free flow.
Yeah.
And I go.
I drop one fuck and we're just off to the races.
100%. That absolutely changes the whole narrative. It's once I do that, then I'm comfortable and I'm there. So what I was going to answer is
there's a lot of lessons from all of it, right?
Agreed.
Like working with people and being a leader and, you know, shooting for the championship and being willing to do the work and not get there.
Yeah.
Like those are all great lessons.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think the most impactful for me was that feeling on when I was doing the sprints.
So for me, I played baseball and football, but in football I played center, and in baseball I only pitched. Right. So like, I feel like those
you were in control
every fucking time.
Yeah.
It was on the line. You're fucking doing this. You're doing this. You're doing this. You're coming down. That fucking guy's going there.
Yeah.
Who's got the mic? Who's got the will? Like, right?
Yeah.
And I had to direct all that fucking traffic.
Yep.
And then you put me on a mound, and it's like,
same thing.
This is on me.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right? You better fucking catch it if they hit it, but this is on me. And if I make a bad pitch, I'm the only one that can control.
Yeah.
If I make a bad fucking pitch, you can't control what I do up here.
Totally.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I never really correlated the two until I got older, and people would start asking me, what sports did you play? What did you play? And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, you always had the hand on the ball.
Had to.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't play the position if I couldn't.
Yeah.
They're like, go play first base. I'm like, fuck you, that guy's gonna make a bad fucking throw and make me look like an asshole, and I can't fucking control it. I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it. I wouldn't play any other position on the line, because if I was right tackle, I couldn't tell what the fucking left tackle was doing, which could directly impact what was happening over here if this guy was, you know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah, it drove me crazy.
Well, you needed to feel like you were orchestrating.
Yeah. Isn't that wild though, like what sports can do?
Yeah, and I'm on the fence about sports right now with my kids, to be honest with you.
Why is that?
Because I also developed a lot of performance anxiety. A lot of it.
How so?
Like, good game, but you could have been better, was my childhood. Like, MVP, could have been better. You won, but could have been better. Hey, great 99 pitches, but that one could have been better.
Yeah, but that's business.
I get it, but it created something in me that it actually hurt me for a season of my life, where, like, I look at it, I made a post the other day. It's like, you're 10 times more likely in America to become a millionaire than you are to become a collegiate athlete, based on percentages.
Okay.
So I'm more like, how do I teach them about money more
Sure.
than how do I teach them about sports? So they're gonna do it, but I'm not gonna put as much emphasis on it as that was put on me. Because I want them to enjoy it, I want them to learn from it, and I'll push them. But the performance anxiety, it was crippling for years for me. I was never enough.
Was it because of how it was delivered?
Probably. You know, I was never given, you know, I was given a lot of recognition, but never from my dad.
Gotcha.
You know, so I think that was
Well, we could have a whole therapy session on dad.
for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty open about it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's never going to listen to this, but like,
Right.
you know, we've had some conversations about it, but when I try to approach those conversations, he just shuts it down.
Right.
Like, he's just not interested in
And the
it.
reason that I like the sports analogy and why I think sports are important as well, and I'm sure you agree with this, and again, I think it's how it's delivered, because in sports, what we should be doing is, well, okay, let's go back. Every single game that I played in, let's say it was football. Did you play football?
Yep.
Okay, so you get done with a game and you fucking smoke somebody.
Yep.
And we were really good. Like, I mean, we fucking were undefeated, one state, blah, blah, blah. Like, we were the best,
Yep.
right? And we would smoke somebody. We beat somebody 69-6, right? And we went back into that locker room. We got to cheer for about 2 minutes. And then what was the next thing to happen?
Why'd they score 6 points?
Or at least a debrief on what could we do better. And the reason why, though, we do that is because if we think that we just reached our peak, what do we have to work on? Right?
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
So I think it's how it's delivered.
Yep.
Right?
Well,
And I don't really know what my fucking point is, but
no, but I think the point
it's
is like, so
important.
I think maybe what I'm trying to say, maybe it's the first time I've kind of correlated this, is like, I'm gonna let the coach do that. As my kid's dad,
okay,
I want to be supportive, and I want to say, hey, you are enough.
right?
Because I went years never feeling enough.
Okay, that I can.
I
get
think that's
behind.
I think that's maybe the first time I've made that connection, because no one's ever really challenged me on it before like that.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's more of like the role I want to play in my child's sports career.
Got it.
Then I think I don't want them to ever feel
You
like
don't want to
they're
be
enough.
the person that has to do that.
Correct.
For them. That's why we have coaches.
Correct.
And then you can just be.
But
the
it's hard,
person
even
that
now
is-
at 8, they're 8-5, and it's I come down from a coaching call cussing some business owner out. They get treated the same fucking way sometimes, and I hate it. But like, it's hard to flip that switch, man.
It is.
Yeah.
100%. How many kids do you have?
I have two
How old?
sons, 8 and 5.
8 and 5. Oof.
It's a season.
What's it like having 2? I have 1, and I couldn't imagine having another.
Yeah, well, I think like we like anything, you just do it.
Yeah, sure.
You know, like
yeah, that's fair.
You just do it.
Yeah.
And so like, I can't imagine only having 1 right now.
Right.
Right. So, and there's people like I can't imagine having twins. There's people who had twins, can't imagine having 1. Right.
Yeah.
I think it's a.
But let's be fair. People with twins are fucking psychotic. They have.
Oh,
to
then
be.
they do it again.
Yeah.
Assholes.
Like, no, you're, yeah.
But I think if I look at the transition from 1 to 2, which they're about a 3-year difference, it creates a much different level of intentionality with the time spent with them.
There you go.
Because you know it's tough when like a 3-year-old who's been the only thing now has to share time, right? They have to share their mom, share their dad. You know, that was probably the lesson I learned in, you know, just making sure that like we don't have to do everything together.
Right.
Right. And like communicating proactively, like, hey man, like in this season right now, we have to do this, but like this is what you can expect from me. Like I talked about earlier, like I would tell my 3-year-old, this is what you can expect from me. Right. And I would follow through on it. So like MJ knows when I say something's gonna happen, he knows he can count on it.
Right.
And I think that's the difference. I think it's setting proper expectations, but also saying, hey, you are not the most important right now, which I think is a really good lesson for people to learn too.
Yeah, it's something that my coach drilled into me when we were talking about the do what you say you're going to do. And the best analogy that he gave me, that he knows how to like fucking hit me in the heart. So like every fucking analogy that he uses towards me is for my kid.
Yeah.
Because he knows that like I would murder somebody for my child, like, and I have no problem going to prison for it. Like,
totally.
I don't give a shit. But he would say, if you're sitting at your desk and you're fucking plugging away trying to get something done, and Tegan comes into your room and says, Daddy, will you come play? And I say, 5 minutes, honey. It better fucking be 5 minutes.
100%.
If I say it's going to be 5 minutes, it better be 5 minutes. If I don't think it can be 5 minutes, then I better tell her 15.
That's life.
And when I get done with 15, and so it is life, right? But he knew that I'd only hear it one way, right?
For your daughter is the most important.
Yep, but then I translate it into everything else. And it's like, why am I know we did this for 20 minutes, but like, why are we doing things or saying things and then not doing what we said we were going to do?
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing about two is learning their different styles. Of like communication, where like what works for one doesn't work for the other. Like,
is one a nightmare and one great?
One's very emotional and wants to talk. The other's very emotional and doesn't. And so like that's like, and so it's like you gotta learn that and just like learning delivery and learning accountability and learning reprimanding.
So like having employees.
Right. Oh, 100%. 100%. So I think that's like the biggest difference is like there is not you love one more than the other. Sure. There is not a favorite or not.
I mean, but you probably do.
You probably do. Yeah. Like, but like in the day.
In the day.
Yeah, you're like Everett was a piece of shit today.
Yeah.
Fuck that kid.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow you're like MJ's really just, just kicking ass. So yeah, like in the day, you know, it adjusts on who's, but like. It was, you know, that's probably the biggest adjustment with two is just like you have to adjust your parenting style just like you would with any report.
Yeah,
any
100%.
Yeah.
All right, give me one more thing that we're passionate about that we've been speaking about or you've been digging into in your coaching or your podcast.
I think the biggest thing, you know, in addition to what we talked about already, would just be like the concept of commitment to discipline.
Okay,
let's
dig into that. I love that.
And so people are really, really good at accepting their excuses for shit. You know, and I like posting about it because like I had like JWM, if you ever see me, like hashtag JWM is just watch me. And sometimes I'll do JFWM, just fucking watch me.
Yeah.
I'm really big on like saying what people should do and then showing them that I do it. Like I'm big on showing it.
I like that.
And so like just watch me is a reminder to me that like I have to show people what the example of discipline and commitment to discipline is. And like little things that people overthink, like they're like, man, how do you eat so healthy on the road? Like I Instacart food and cook it. Like we bought chicken and rice.
Right.
And I tracked my macros.
Right.
And we made some food.
Yeah, people think I'm nuts when I'm sitting over there eating fucking chicken and rice and plugging it in.
I brought it with me.
Yeah.
Like my assistant now makes it for me.
Yeah.
But like for years I would travel with a cooler.
Right.
Like, oh, you can fly with food? Who the fuck told you couldn't fly with food? You can't fly with water.
Right.
But I'll pack a cooler full of food for a trip.
Can you put the dry ice?
As long as it's frozen, it's fine.
Then it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like even water frozen you can take, it just can't be a liquid. So like I'll take yogurt, right? I'll make my protein yogurt with overnight oats and then we'll freeze it.
Really? And that goes through and that's
right
okay?
Through, no issue at all. Not once. Not once.
Ha!
Yep, so I carried it
That's
on.
literally the reason I didn't.
Yeah, so like, I've not had one issue with food.
Interesting.
Yeah, not once. And so like, they're like, but that seems crazy. Why?
Why?
It's commitment to discipline.
Yeah.
And so like, I got an Airbnb with a kitchen instead of a hotel room.
Right.
Right? Like, why? Commitment to discipline.
Right.
You know, like, and so I think so many people are so afraid to just say, this is the option, there's no other options.
Right.
Like, I'm not the skinniest, and I don't have a six-pack, and I don't. But I'm gonna show you what it looks like to be consistent.
Right.
You know, and like, fitness right now is like, could I be fitter? Yes. But the sacrifice to get there would underperform the floors and other roles.
Right.
When I diet, I get angry.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not dieting aggressively right now. I'm eating the right amount of food that's clean.
Yep.
But like I upped my carbs because I was getting angry.
Right. That's when I know I have to up my fucking carbs, right?
And like I've been sleeping better.
Yep.
I've been communicating better.
Weak and
my
shit.
patience is up.
Yep.
And like, no, and I don't have a six-pack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, but like, come work out with me. You know, like I'll show you how in shape
But I'm
I
fit
am.
and I'm healthy.
And I'm functional.
I like lifting heavy shit.
And I'm functional, right?
Yeah.
And so, but like, things with like, who we'll spend time with, what behaviors we'll accept, who will tolerate, that all corresponds to commitment to discipline, right? If you can't commit to eating consistently or working out consistently or not watching porn or not drinking or not doing drugs, like those are simple things.
Yeah.
You'll absolutely tolerate people around you underperforming. You'll tolerate them pulling you down. You'll tolerate them underperforming in the business. You'll tolerate them treating you poorly.
Man, that's a real fuck. That hit. Because when I changed my standard for me, that was when my expectation standard of everybody else fucking changed.
When you stop accepting excuses for yourself, that is the new standard. So you stop accepting excuses from other people.
Man, that's 100% real.
It changed my life.
Yeah.
When I stopped accepting my own excuses, I had to stop tolerating everybody else.
Isn't it weird when you find out that you're doing something you didn't even know you were doing?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, well, because like you're like a hypocrite. When you're like, well, I was tired today, and so it's like, I was tired, so I didn't show up. I use that excuse too.
Yeah,
so I get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it anymore.
Take a day.
I don't get it anymore.
Right.
Fuck you, asshole.
Right.
Like, you're wasting my time.
Right.
You're 5 minutes late. I'm fucking gone.
Yeah.
Man, you know how it goes. No, I don't know how it goes. I've been late to a meeting in 6 fucking years.
Right.
I don't know how it is.
That drives me crazy, by the way.
Right, but people are like, man, you know how it is as a contractor. No, I fucking don't.
No.
Tell me. Tell me how you prioritize your time over mine, and you want me to reschedule with you.
Right.
Would you hire me if I showed up late?
Yeah.
No? Well, fuck you, asshole.
Right.
Gets me fucking hot, man.
I love getting fired up.
No, I do, but it's like when you stop accepting your own excuses, you realize how easy it is to hold a line.
Yep.
And you realize how wildly underperforming people are.
As a general rule.
As a general rule.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I know it's actually easier to be disciplined.
It is.
Right? It's easier to eat the same shit.
It makes your life way fucking
And so you
simpler.
know how easy it is to do it,
Yep.
which makes you actually judge everybody else that much more.
It does.
It does.
It's the most irritating thing where I had a couple of people that were like, oh, I wanna get in shape, I wanna do this, I wanna do that, and they're like, can you help me? And I'm like, yeah, just do that and that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any weights at my house. Okay.
You have money?
So what else could you fucking do?
Can you do a push-up?
Yeah,
Sit
can
up,
you do a
squat?
fucking push-up and a
Yeah.
squat and fucking go jog around the fucking block? Like, let's commit to that.
See, and this is what really gets me fucking fired up, is they assume that you had it easier than them because they don't have weights they can't have what
For
you
sure.
have. It's, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, because they're like, well, you got money, you can fucking go do that. You can meal prep, you can fucking buy, you can do all that because you got money. Motherfucker, you got to buy groceries. What are you doing?
It makes me so angry.
I do too.
Because what it
I get
does,
so mad.
What it does is it disrespects the fuck out of my effort.
Yes.
When you assume I had it easier than you, you are disrespecting the shit out of me.
Yes.
And I have zero tolerance for that.
I
At that
agree.
point, I'm like, hey man, you're probably right. And I walk away.
Yep.
Like, I probably did have it easier. And I
Yeah,
walk away. Because
fuck it.
you don't
Yeah.
want to hear the truth.
Yeah.
You're a victim.
Yeah, just give up.
I'm not going to waste my time on this.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I got no time for that shit.
I love you. I'm glad we became friends.
Yeah, perfect.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we have way more in common than I think anybody ever thought.
Together we'll have less friends.
Yeah, that's I'm fine with that. Like, holy shit, am I okay with less friends?
Yeah.
Who was it last year that kept saying that we needed to get together and meet? I was trying to figure out who it was that was pushing that.
Might have been Hunter.
Was it Hunter?
I don't remember.
I felt like it was somebody else.
It's a blur, bro.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I was just trying. I wanted to thank that person.
But it's just funny. It was like a year ago.
Isn't that crazy?
Like, I think I sent you a DM after you were on stage. I was like, hey man, we didn't get to meet.
Yes.
Like, great job. And you were like, yeah, it was all right. And I was like, fuck you, asshole. and then we met a year later. Like, that's basically the story.
That is basically the story.
But no, like that commitment to discipline is. I want to give that gift to people.
Yeah.
Because it really is a gift.
It really
does
gift.
simplify everything. It simplifies decisions. It simplifies behaviors. It simplifies relationships. It simplifies communication, which makes you operate faster.
You want to give it to people that want it, though.
Well, that's why I yell at people. Because people who want it like being yelled at.
Okay.
I like yelling at people.
Do you?
I told a dude yesterday, he's like, hey man, like, last year I told him to start a podcast. And he was like, hey man, thank you for that. Like, I did 6 episodes. I said, you only did 6 episodes in the last 52 weeks?
Yeah, that's a mini-series.
That's like, I should put my foot up your fucking ass. He goes, dude, I need that in my life. The people who want it know they need to be pulled through their own bullshit.
Yeah.
And so somebody's gonna want to be honest with them and direct with them. Those are the people that gravitate towards it.
And it's not even, I think yelling gives connotation, though. It's passion. It's because you actually give a shit.
And people, I do.
Right? And that's what comes out.
I come across authentically because I am fucking authentic.
Right.
I'm not like, you can't fake that level of passion.
No.
And I do it with everybody.
Right. I do it in business. Like,
I've had people tell me, like, Mike, you're too direct for me. Good.
Good. Yeah.
You don't want this then.
No.
We've never even worked. If you think I'm too direct in public, like, wait till we get on a coaching call.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't ready, man.
No.
You're not ready at all.
When did you start coaching?
2017.
What made you do it?
So, quick story.
I'm really bad about asking people what they do.
No,
so,
I get it.
I always want to at least give, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's fine. You know, and like, I've told this story a lot of different ways, but like, I did corporate America first.
Yeah.
And I was like 25 years old, making like 160 grand a year, going like, this is the rest of my fucking life.
Right.
And I was like, I'm worth more than this. And so I went to work for a remodeler for a couple of years as head of sales and marketing, then went to a roofing company for a couple of years, head of sales and marketing. And over those years, I massively grew these companies. And people started asking a lot of questions. Like just in the local community in Charlotte, like I was in a BNI, like he was like, Mike, what did you do about this? How did you handle this? How did you solve this? What should I do about this? And in 2017, like I coached 3 companies, not knowing I was coaching them. I was just like answering phone calls.
Yeah.
And they all grew by like 7 figures. At the end of so I looked at my wife and I was like, I need to find a way to monetize this.
Yeah.
Because like and I enjoy it. And so in 2018, I started the LLC, you know, and it was like and I basically started in sales and marketing training that evolved over time into business and life coaching like we're doing now. And
are you running any other company? Like, are you running a construction company or anything
right
like
now?
that? Yeah.
So I'm a partner in a financial service company.
Okay.
And I had a demolition and grading company I exited.
Okay.
I started with a partner and like I wasn't loving it. Like we ended on great terms.
Right.
I was like, you need this more than I do. You're the expert here. I'm gonna go focus on this other stuff.
Because here's why I asked the question, is because you see some coaches that get out of what they were doing and they were coaching on what they were doing, and then they're not involved in it anymore, and their shit gets stagnant because they're not evolving with what's actually going on in the industry.
Which happened to me.
Okay.
So like as I evolved as a CEO of my company, I got more into CEO coaching. So as I was learning to grow my coaching, because I'm not a coach anymore.
Right.
I own a coaching company.
Gotcha.
Right, like we have 8 coaches on staff that do one-on-one coaching. So as I evolved as CEO and built like a multi-7-figure coaching company, now I do a lot more CEO coaching.
Gotcha.
And so like, no, I don't do any sales coaching anymore.
Right.
Even my podcast, the Big Stud Podcast, was the Big Stud Sales Podcast when it started.
Okay.
And as I started helping people, I realized I was really good at this life coaching and discipline coaching and commitment coaching and vision training. And I was like, it just evolved over 6 years.
Sure.
And so my coaching now is what I've been learning to build my own thing.
And then it evolved with what you were learning.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I don't do sales coaching
But
anymore.
you were aware of it.
Well, I realized, like value of impact,
But
right?
I think that a lot of people aren't self-aware, is what I'm getting at.
1,000%.
Right?
I'm incredibly self-aware. Like we talked earlier, like I'm very comfortable with what I do know, and I'm very comfortable with what I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't need you to agree with me for me to know that I'm confident that I'm right. Like,
Yes.
I don't need you to
Yes.
agree with me for me to
No.
believe I'm right, because I'm right based on my context, my experience, my journey.
Yep.
Based on my data points,
Yep.
my opinion on this topic, whatever that topic is, on how to lead or how to fire. This is my way.
Yep.
And it doesn't need to work for you.
Right.
And I don't need to prove to you I'm right.
Right.
I'm comfortable with that.
Right.
And you can say, hey, and I'm wrong about this. Cool. Can we move on now? Like,
But what I've also what I've learned just from talking to you twice in the last fucking 3 hours, though, right, is that when you are talking to somebody, though, you can be very fucking passionate and sure about what you're talking about. But if you hear something, because it's happened with us,
Yep.
and you're like, oh, I didn't think of it that way, and not that you were wrong, but that there was a
new data points.
there was a new data point, right? And so you're not, because I think that people would hear that and be like, oh, he's just a closed-minded fuck. No, you know what you believe, right? And
Yeah.
you know what is true, but you're also open to input to be able to continue on the path that you're going, because that's my biggest thing, is like, I have to always keep my mind open,
Yep.
because I will get closed and be like,
Yeah, but like,
does that make sense?
It
what I'm
does.
saying?
No, and I fail at that sometimes. I won't open up to people I don't respect.
That's fair. I won't either.
Right, so like,
No,
I respect you, right?
I respect you,
Right,
so I'll
and
listen to what you have to say.
If you say something like, well,
Right.
that has some validity,
Yeah.
allow me to add that to the data set I
yeah,
have.
but if
and
some
that
fucking twat walks down here and fucking...
there's plenty of twats walking
Yeah.
around here.
I don't-
But like, I think from a perspective of that is, I think one of the biggest superpowers out there for CEOs is the ability to change your mind.
Yes.
Because like, you have to the bigger your business gets, the more decisions you have to make with less information.
Yes.
So you have to be confident for your team and for your mission, say, guys, this is the right way based on what I know right now. And when it's just you have 100% of the data points.
Right.
3-4 degrees later, you might have 15% of the data points.
Right.
And you have 85% of the context of experience. But you're like, okay, well, this is the direction. This is what we're doing. This is where we're going.
And don't fucking freeze and not make a decision.
And which allows you to take action.
Right.
But you go, and the next data point, you pivot. You pivot. You pivot. It's navigating across the ocean. It's not a fucking railroad track.
Right.
Right? You're constantly pivoting back towards
that
north.
was literally our company word for 2023 was pivot.
Yeah,
I
love
literally
it.
went in one day and I said, just an FYI to everybody here, our word for the year is fucking pivot.
Ours was stabilize.
Stabilize, I like that. The year before that, it was accountability.
Yeah, stabilize was, I doubled my business every year for 4 years. And at some point, you're like, all right, guys, we got to patch some holes over here.
Okay, all right.
You know, so it was like, this year's a stabilized year. We're not going to grow too much. We're not going to invest a ton of money. We're going to buckle down, go very internal, and start to make changes.
Oh, I like that.
And so like 2024, we're ready.
That's stabilize or that's blow up?
No, 2024 is going to be blow up.
Because you fucking
2023 was
patched
stabilized.
the holes in the boat.
We patched a lot of holes.
Yeah, now you're going to fucking row.
Next year's going to be fun.
Love that.
Next year's going to be fun.
Mike, dude, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely, man.
Hey, the way that we always finish up though is I always give the floor back to the guests for any burning desire that I might have forgot about and what you want to make sure that the guests take away or whatever the fuck, or you can say fuck you, this was a terrible episode.
No, so I'll look this right here.
You can do whatever you want.
Right, so don't feel like you have to do it alone. I've had coaches, you've had coaches, and this isn't about hire Mike Claudio or Eric. It's about finding somebody who's been where you want to be and just shut up and listen.
Shut the fuck up and listen.
And it really is that simple. I've had a business coach that's been different, but I've had a business coach consistently for the last 7 years.
Yep.
And it's invaluable. It's invaluable.
Best money I've ever spent.
Put your ego aside. I spent 200 grand last year on a coach.
Wow.
And it was everything I needed in that season. And that wasn't what I spent on the first coach.
Right.
Right? But I challenge everybody listening right now to get somebody involved in your life that you can lean on, that can help pull you through your own bullshit.
Yep. Inside of a transactional relationship so that they show up every fucking time.
Yeah, like a mentor is different because they're not focused on you. They want to answer when you call.
Right.
But you want somebody who's dedicated to you every time you need them.
Yes.
And is involved for a period of time.
Transactional relationship has gotten a dirty connotation over the last few years, and it needs to be reinvented that like sometimes transactional relationships are exactly what you fucking need.
Well, so I would call it something different.
Right.
I would call it a value exchange.
Yeah.
But I think it's
then
different.
I go into that, I'm like, I'm exchanging money for time.
For value.
Yes.
Right? So a transaction for some people means like, I just checked out at 7-Eleven, that was a transaction,
Sure.
now I'm going back out.
Yeah.
I say, hey, I'm getting into a transactional value exchange.
Yes.
You're going to bring me something I want, I'm going to give you something you want.
Okay.
And as long as you're
I'm
bringing...
going to steal that now.
Perfect.
Okay.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
Because I think the negative connotation of transactions, they picture a checkout counter.
Yeah, sure.
That's
yeah.
a transaction.
Agreed.
What you're asking for is a transaction of value.
Value. Yeah, 100%.
Like you're going to bring me dollars,
Yep.
and I'm going to bring you answers that will bring you more than the dollars you're bringing me.
Yep.
Like I've told my coaching staff for a long time, I used to get really frustrated people wouldn't do everything I wanted them to do, right? And I changed my approach to, it is our job to get people to do more than they would have without us that equals more than their investment.
Yeah.
I don't need you to do everything I want you to do.
Right.
I need you to do more than you would have without us.
Yeah.
That equals more than your investment.
Yeah.
That's what I got to do.
Then you succeeded.
Then I succeeded.
Yeah.
You're happy, I'm happy, you renew, we make money, everybody's good.
Yeah. It's awesome. Mike, thank you for being here. Thanks for
Appreciate it, man.
being a friend.
Absolutely.
I appreciate everything. Guys, if you didn't get value out of this episode, you probably need to be on a short bus.
Yeah, just don't come back.
Yeah, because this was an amazing show. This was an amazing episode. There's so many nuggets that you can pull out of this. I'd say go back and rewatch the goddamn thing because it was that good. I don't have sponsors, so Zyn, for all your nicotine needs, cinnamon's my fucking favorite. We're making this real and we're sending it to Zyn.
We're working on Pellegrino sponsorships right now.
Pellegrino, for all your Pellegrino needs. But yeah, Zyn. So no sponsors on this shit. I pay for fucking everything. So please
The
share
amount
it.
of money I spend on free content is obnoxious.
Fucking obnoxious.
It's
So
6 figures a year.
It's outrageous,
Yes.
right? So
People
please,
don't get that.
They don't.
No.
So as Mike just said, lots of fucking money.
Yeah.
Share this fucking episode with your friends. If you got any value out of it, get it out to the fucking world so that they can learn something. And remember, be authentic or get the fuck out.
Be authentic. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Yeah. Swipes.